So yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. So as always, I'm Rebecca Lockwood, your neuro-linguistic programming trainer, hypnotherapy trainer, and breakthrough coach trainer. I do train a couple of other modalities, including timeline therapy, EFT, energy, and a couple of other bits and bobs. So today we're going to be diving into, is this what's missing from your New Year's resolutions? So let's dive in, because I have seen so many people talking about New Year's resolutions, about myself being talking about intentions, about goals, about like this newness that comes with a new year. So give me a wave if you have set some New Year's resolutions, because one of the things that I've noticed is that I'm seeing everyone talking about it like new year, new you, or people saying just because it's a new year doesn't mean it has to be a new you. And I've seen all these kind of posts, these memes, things on Instagram, on social media. So let me know, like, whereabouts are you with this? Like, have you set yourself some New Year's resolutions? Are you still working towards some things perhaps that you'd set for yourself last year? So for me, what I find is, because, especially in my business, because I work from tax year, April to April, for me, when it comes into this new year, January, February, March, it's not really new for me, because I'm still working on the same things that I've set myself in that financial year in my business. So as much as, hi Helen, as much as when we come into January, it feels exciting, it feels fresh, it feels like it's a time to set some intentions. For me, it's really about checking in with the intentions that I've already set and really asking myself if they're still aligning with me, with my goals, with what it is that I want to do. And one of the things that I teach in my neuro-linguistic programming practitioner course is about having a 3-month plan. And about every 3 months, how we sit down, we put a plan together, we understand what our intentions are, what our goals are, and then what them actions are that's going to support us to achieve them goals and intentions, or actions, whatever we want to call them. So let me know. I know there's quite a few of our existing students on here, so do give me a wave, give me a hands up if you have done a 90-day plan, or if you've been checking back in with your previous 90-day plans, because that'd be really nice to see. But what I want to talk to you about today is the things that we may be missing from our intentions, from our 90-day plans, from our New Year's resolutions, because we're seeing a lot of people talking about the amazing side of it, the positive side of it, and it is a great new time to set these intentions and these goals. But there's also, I think, a big part of that, a big part of what may manifest itself, which may not necessarily be positive, or may be positive but it doesn't quite feel positive as you are experiencing it. And what I'm talking about here, some of you may have guessed, is things like a lack of self-belief, negative self-talk, imposter syndrome. Because quite often what happens, and I teach a lot about this within my neuro-linguistic programming course, a lot of stuff that can come up is you might write something down, you might have this spark of inspiration that you want to do something that's exciting, but then you talk yourself out of it because you don't feel good enough to be able to do it, or you don't feel worthy enough to be able to do it, or you don't feel like you're capable of doing it, or perhaps you are doing something or you're working towards it and you feel like there's some kind of notion of you may be found out for not actually being able to do something. Let me know, and give me a wave, put your hands up if you've experienced any of that. So I really want to talk to that, because I've not seen anyone talking about this, and actually this happens for all of us, right? All of us at every step of the way in our journey. Whenever we're setting new intentions or getting really excited about something coming up, it is natural to feel some self-doubt, to feel some lack of confidence, to feel like there's perhaps some limiting beliefs that want to rear their ugly heads and stop you from being able to do what it is that you want to do. Now, I experience this too, and I'm so thankful and grateful that I practice what I preach. I practice what I teach, right? I teach neuro-linguistic programming, and I teach about being very self-aware and about picking up on these things. And so for me, when this stuff comes up, I ride it out, I sit with it, and I allow it to move through me, and then I do something about it, right? Because it's important to be self-aware and not try and brush over this stuff. Try not to swear here, but not brush over this stuff, but to acknowledge it and acknowledge us for who we are and our humanness, right? So let me know if this is resonating. So the first thing I want to talk about is self-belief, right? So when we set goals and intentions, it is so important to have the belief within yourself that it's possible to be able to achieve these things. Now, as we first start to get inspired to have big goals and inspired to take and make some changes in our lives or in our business or in the way that we do things, it's natural for some doubt to come up or some kind of, I wanted to say the word unsurety. Unsurety. You know, it's natural for us to feel unsure about stuff, right? And that's because we're human. Our brains are wired to think like that and to see perhaps more negative. It's the negativity bias, right? So our brains are programmed to see more negative things than positive ones, naturally, because years and years ago, when we had to be on high alert and not get eaten by something or killed by a saber-toothed tiger, we needed to be able to notice when something bad was going to happen. So our brains are still wired that way as well. So when we're setting our intentions and setting our goals and deciding these exciting things that we want to do, it is natural for this stuff to come up. But it's also important to, one, allow ourselves to be human and acknowledge that we feel this way and everyone feels this way. But two, not allow that to control the outcome. Right? Because yeah, we're going to feel a bit crappy at some time. Yeah, we may doubt our abilities sometimes. Yeah, we may question if it's possible for us to do something. But that doesn't mean we have to act upon them feelings of lack of being able to do something, right? Sometimes this can be really sneaky as well. So it's important to remember that you may at first start to think, yes, I can do this, it's amazing. And then you may then either, one, you start to get results, but then you stop taking the action and you don't really know why. Or two, you may talk yourself out of taking action, and it may come up as like a negative self-talk or a bit like imposter syndrome, asking yourself, well, who do I think I am to be able to do that? So we have to be really self-aware as well. So the next thing is confidence. And these all really interlink together, right? The confidence, self-belief, negative self-talk, imposter syndrome, all of these things kind of intertwine. Limiting beliefs, kind of, when you have a limiting belief, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, I'm not worthy of that. When you have a limiting belief, that manifests itself and can manifest itself through negative self-talk, imposter syndrome. You see where, like, lack of self-belief, you know, all of these things, self-sabotage when we may be taking actions on something but then we stop. So limiting belief can cause them things to happen as well. So confidence. So being honest with yourself. Do you really feel like you have the confidence to take action on them intentions, them goals, them New Year's resolutions? Is it something that you feel like, or you say to yourself perhaps, it doesn't matter what happens, I am going to make this happen no matter what? Right? Because there's goals and intentions that I've set in the past and I felt at the time like out of my depth, like way out of my depth. I'm like, I set something and then I'm like, what, Becky, really? Like, do you really think you're going to be able to do that? And then I'll say to myself, do you know what? I want this to happen. I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And what that means to me is no matter what negative self-talk comes up, no matter what I say to myself about not believing it's possible, no matter what limiting beliefs I identify and release along the way, no matter what, fill in the blank, right? And I also just want to honour as well and acknowledge that sometimes when we set intentions and goals, when we check back in with them, actually maybe something that doesn't align with you anymore. And it's about being so self-aware that you can tell the difference between something not aligning with you anymore and something that you are self-sabotaging. And that distinction can be so difficult to make. I've questioned it numerous times with myself, and it's something that I talk about within my Neuro-Linguistic Programming Practitioner course, about being able to determine limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, lack of confidence, and get to the root cause of them, and to determine the difference between limiting beliefs, self-sabotage and imposter syndrome, and something that actually just doesn't align with you anymore. So what else might be missing from your New Year's resolutions? Your complete knowing that it is going to happen. Your complete knowing that it is going to happen. Something that I teach within the timeline therapy part of my NLP practitioner course is about setting intentions and setting goals and then placing them in your timeline so that it creates this feeling of, well, it's a given. Right, it's a given, it's going to happen. And we want to feel like that with all of our intentions. When it's something that's so important to us that we want to achieve, we want to make sure that we're feeling as though, because when we feel something, we'll think it, we'll then, because what happens is when we believe something is possible, we create internal representations of that thing, which gives us a certain feeling. And we then project that out into the world, which leads to our behaviors, right? And our behaviors, our actions are what's going to make stuff happen. It's what's going to help us manifest what we want, right? Because we're also then going to see the opportunities in our current version of reality. Well, basically, our current version of reality is the complete knowing that it's going to happen, right? And so when you have that feeling, your reticular activating system, right? So we have what's called the reticular activating system, and this is like a door at the front of our minds, and it opens up to notice all the things in your reality to back up the intentions that you are setting. Now, let me give you an example of this. One of the first times I sat down with myself and put my intentions together, one of the things I wrote down was that I wanted to become a best-selling author. Now I'm a 3 times best-selling author, which I'm so grateful for. At the time, I'd not wrote my book. I'd not even had an idea for a book. I just knew that I wanted to become a best-selling author. Now, the next day, I was on Facebook and my friend posted something about her becoming an author. And I was so inspired by this, and my reticular activating system was like, ding, 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 ding. Look at what is an opportunity, right? But I didn't necessarily say that to myself at that time, but this is what was going on subconsciously. So I then reached out to my friend and said, wow, I am so inspired by what you've just said, because literally last night I wrote down that I wanted to become a best-selling author. Now, she then connected me with her publisher, who then supported me to become a best-selling author for the first time. And so our reticular activating system, when we fully believe and we have full, complete knowing that our intentions and our goals, thanks Louisa, are going to happen, everything else works together subconsciously to make that happen. There's also something else that I want to talk to, because this is so important. And I remember that, I remember times where I would sob, like I would I would be so upset and I'd be sobbing and I'd be like, why can't it just happen now? I wanted everything overnight. And the reason why this was happening, and I teach this within my Neuro-Linguistic Programming Master Practitioner course, is because we create this energy around wanting things to happen, or we can create this energy. And I definitely did in the past. This energy, and sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I might slip into it a little bit and I'm like, oh, catch yourself there, Becky, we're not doing that today. So we create this energy. It's like a desperation energy around wanting things to happen right now. And the online world makes it so easy to get things now, next day, instant gratification. And we fall into this trap, and it's only natural, right? It's only because we're human and our neural networks are wired this way, because we can get instant gratification with so much, right? So we set these intentions of like, no, I want it now. And it creates this desperate energy around it. And so what we need to do is we need to collapse that desperate energy. One of the things I teach within our Neuro-Linguistic Programming Master course is about collapsing that energy. And so you no longer feel the desperation around it, but you feel like, again, it is going to be happening. It's a complete knowing that it's going to happen. So just to round up then, and give me a wave and let me know if this has resonated or is resonating. Is this what's missing from your New Year's resolution? So 1, the self-belief that you can actually do it. 2, the confidence that it is going to happen. And 3, the complete knowing that it is going to happen, and not having that desperate need to try and control everything and make it happen overnight. So as always, I'm Rebecca Lockwood, your neuro-linguistic programming trainer, hypnotherapy trainer and breakthrough coach trainer. I have popped, if you're on Instagram with me, it's in the link in my profile, and if you're on Facebook with me, it's in the link in the description. There is a link to a free training that I'm running starting next week, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life, where I'm going to be talking through the powerful steps in neuro-linguistic programming that you can use to support yourself in your life, in your business, really to support yourself to understand yourself, how you think, why you think the way you think, how you behave, why you behave the way you behave, and how to make changes if you're not happy with anything. If you're on Facebook with me, I've also popped a link, and if you're on Instagram with me, you have to pop me a message for the link, to our amazing quiz that me and my team have developed this week to support you to identify for yourself where you may be experiencing any blocks, any barriers, any challenges that you may be coming up against, but you're just not sure. So what this quiz will do is this will help you to become self-aware of what it is that's holding you back and what to do about it. So the link to that, if you're on Facebook with me, is in the description and of this video, and if you're on Instagram with me, you'll have to pop me a message for the link and I'll pop it over to you. I've also popped a link, again, if you're on Facebook with me, it's in the description. If you're on Instagram with me, you'll have to pop me a message, to our NLP Foundations course, which is open, which you can find out more about neuro-linguistic programming on, and that is really the basics. It's just a really nice step into neuro-linguistic programming. It's a foundational course that'll just really help you to understand neuro-linguistic programming. So if you've got any questions, just pop me a message. Nina says, imagine you already have what you want or desire. Yes. Imagining and allowing yourself to visualize what you want can definitely help you achieve it much faster. That definitely programs the reticular activating system to move closer, and it pulls you towards the things that you want much closer, and it helps you collapse time. Louisa says, the complete knowing is something I'm missing a little bit. Yeah, thank you. You're very welcome. So if you want a link to the quiz, just pop me a message for it. And if you've got any other questions about anything that I've spoken about today or neuro-linguistic programming, just pop me a message. Have an amazing day. Hopefully I'll see you on the free training starting on Monday. And again, the link on Instagram is in the profile, and on Facebook it is in the description. Have an amazing day, everyone, and I'll catch you all soon.